Not everybody is required to file a tax return. It really depends on your age, filing status, the type, and the amount of income that you have. So how much do you have to make in order to file your taxes? I'm covering the answer to that question in this video. Hey guys, welcome back to The College Investor, investing and personal finance for millennials. Today we are partnering with TurboTax on this video. Be sure to check out our complete tax software review of TurboTax, and we wanted to cover the question, how much do you actually need to make in order to file your taxes? It really does depend on a variety of factors, so let's hop into that. First, you need to know the standard deduction. If your income within the past year was less than the standard deduction, you typically don't need to file a tax return. Now, a standard deduction for somebody filing single is $12,200. Head of household is $18,350. Married filing separately is also $12,200, and married filing jointly is $24,400. So for someone who is making less in income than the standard deduction, then your taxable income would be zero. So therefore, you would not have to file a tax return because you don't owe any taxes. Next, you'll also need to know what the income filing thresholds are. So for the lowest tax bracket in 2019, here's what that looks like. At 10%, singles and married filing separately is up to $9,700. Married filing jointly is up to $19,400, and heads of household is just under $14,000. So to understand how tax brackets work with the standard deduction, let's say a 27-year-old person earned $8,500 in income in the last year. That means their total taxable income is less than zero, which means they don't have any income that can actually be taxed. Next, ask yourself if you are a dependent. Now, parents can claim their children as dependents up until the age of 19. If they continue their education, parents can claim children as a dependent up to the age of 24. Now, if you are a single dependent under the age of 65, then your tax filing situation will depend on three different things: earned income, unearned income, and gross income. And those numbers are $1,052 in unearned income, $12,001 in earned income, and your gross income was either larger of $1,050 or earned income up to $11,650 plus $350. You'll also want to check on Social Security benefits. This really only applies to seniors, so if you are receiving Social Security benefits, that's not included as taxable income, so therefore it's not taxed. Now, the situation does change if you're married to somebody who's 65 years and older. In that case, if you have a combined income of more than $27,000, then you must file a tax return. There are certain situations which would require you to file a tax return, and that is if you are self-employed and you earned $400 or more through your self-employed business, if you paid on a 1099 miscellaneous form, or if you bought health insurance from a state or federal marketplace. In any of those situations, then you're most likely going to need to file a tax return. Now, if you're still unsure if you should file a tax return, it's best to talk to a tax professional. You could avoid potential filing mistakes and penalties. Even if you have fallen under a situation in which you don't have to file a tax return, you may still want to file it, because if you have, let's say, a part-time job where you earned some money and you were paying taxes on that job, you could potentially get that money back in your tax return. The best thing to do is file your taxes using a really good tax software like TurboTax. You could end up filing for free, so be sure to check them out in our complete video walkthrough of TurboTax tax software on thecollegeinvestor.com.